Hey there guys, it is Natural Nadine here and I'm back with another video. I feel like I need a new intro. I feel like I'm so bored of that same damn intro, but that's what we got right now, so I'm rocking with it, okay? So today's video is gonna be all about how you can overcome heat damage. Now, my previous videos have been kind of like taking you guys along the journey with me, literally from the day that I washed my hair from having a silk press, and I didn't even know that I was gonna have that magnitude of heat damage. So I was experiencing it live over the same time you guys were experiencing it. So I feel like my previous videos have been just me showing you, going through the motions and just kind of showing you the different things that I'm doing to my hair to get my hair to recover. I would say that at this moment in time, my hair is probably about 80% recovered. As you can see, there's still some areas that are lacking shrinkage, that are lacking just elasticity, and they're still kind of like straight. And funnily enough, if you guys watched my video, you would have seen that this side was the side that was like the most damaged. Like this side didn't even seem that much damaged, like to this extent, where this side has recovered like a lot quicker than this side, if that makes sense. And it was mainly at the back and on my ends, as you can see. So I was so shocked. I don't know if it's because I focused so much like TLC on this side of my hair, why it's kind of recovered a lot quicker than this side, because I don't know why, I just thought that this side didn't matter. But yeah, as for my overall hair, heat damage is pretty much 80% gone. My curl pattern is back. As you can see, my hair has shrunk back. Still not 100% comfortable with stretching it and doing all of that, but we're getting there, okay? Now, one of the reasons why I felt so confident coming on my channel and talking about heat damage and talking about kind of recovering from heat damage is because this is not my first time recovering from heat damage. I've had heat damage like a few times within my natural hair journey. I guess for me, I just haven't 100% found a routine where I can continuously straighten my hair back to back and not experience some sort of heat damage. Granted that the heat damage I got this time around was, one, a lot worse than any kind of heat damage I've ever had, and two, was due to my own wrongdoings. It wasn't the lack of a routine that caused me to get heat damage. It was more just me pushing my hair to the edge when it comes to heat and then kind of dealing with the consequences. And then the second thing is, I feel like the stigma for heat damage is always, if you've got heat damage, the first port of call is cut it, you can't recover your hair, it's a lost cause, you can't recover from heat damage. And honestly, I completely disagree with that, mainly because I feel like maybe back in the day that might have been the case, but there's so many products that are accessible to us now that mean that we are able to nurse our hair back to health from different types of damage. This doesn't just mean like heat damage, this can be color damage, this can be chemical damage. And I'm so glad I did. Instead of chopping off a good 6 inches of my hair would have been like here if I decided to like chop off the hair. That could have turned out to be perfectly healthy again. So that's why I wanted to kind of embark on this heat damage journey. And just within my videos, I tend to not do a proper intro, and I just kind of tend to get straight into it, because personally, I'm not here for the long talking. When I'm watching people's videos, I like to get to the point, but I felt like an intro was necessary for this video. So yeah. So anyways, without me rambling on, which I've already rambled on, let's talk about how to get your hair to recover from heat damage. Now, the first thing you need to do to help your hair to recover from heat damage, it's gonna seem so like self-explanatory, but like, stop using heat. And I say this because, right, I feel like there's people out there, and I know there's people out there because I have friends that are like this, and they think they can overcome heat damage by just minimizing the heat they use, or like lowering their straightener temperature, or that type of thing. And if you want to nurse your hair back to full health, you need to go cold turkey. Cut the heat out ASAP, expeditiously, okay? The reason for this being is that when you are trying to recover from heat damage, you are trying to repair hydrogen bonds, disulfide bonds, and van der Waals bonds in your hair. If you are continuously breaking those bonds, they're not gonna have a chance to reform and solidify. You need to go cold turkey when it comes to the straighteners. I've even gone cold turkey when it comes to stretching my hair. So when I do a wash and go like this, I would usually have like stretched my hair, picked my hair, and all of that type of jazz, but none of that. Just wear your hair as it is in its a little bob-like state, whatever it is, whatever the weather, because that's what's gonna give your hair the chance to reform these bonds. This kind of leads me on to my next point, which is style your hair in the way you want your bonds to reform, if that makes sense. Not only do you want to rebuild these bonds, but you have to basically retrain your hair to curl back up. You have to retrain your hair to dry a certain way. You have to retrain your hair to retain its shape. All of that means doing the same style over and over and over again, even if it looks like ass, okay? Even like, I feel like I have had the most despicable wash and goes. I think I've even come on here and shown you guys my terrible wash and goes, just to be completely transparent. I even feel like this wash and go is probably not the best, but let's say you style your hair like this when it's wet. When that water leaves your hair, those hydrogen bonds set, those disulfide bonds set, and those van der Waals set in that position. So next time those bonds naturally want to reform in that shape. So I feel like sometimes the go-to is, if you've got heat damage, you start protective styling, you start braiding your hair down, you put your hair away, but that's not gonna help the bonds in your hair to form back in the way that you want them to form, which sometimes can make you think, oh, I'm not recovering from this heat damage, I've been doing protective styles, my hair's growing out, but the shape has never returned back to its normal shape, and it's because you're not styling your hair in the shape that you want to wear it in. But I don't know if any of that, what I've just said, makes sense, but yeah, basically style your hair how you want your hair to style. Don't stop doing wash and goes, even if they look a little bit scraggly, even if they look, you're just gonna have to firm it. I found hair extensions has really helped me to still be able to do wash and goes, but kind of hide little aspects of my heat damage. And like, let's say with like a part like this, I would literally grab a hairpin and just like pin it up, if that makes sense. If I was like going out and I just didn't want to look like a hot mess, I would find ways to manipulate my hair so that it kind of like looks decent. The next way to help overcome heat damage is by implementing bond builder. You guys have watched like my previous like 3, 4, I don't even know how many videos I've done on OLAPLEX and how I've used OLAPLEX as a bond builder to help me to recover from my heat damage. Now, those videos are not sponsored, by the way. OLAPLEX hasn't sponsored me or anything, even though they should, because I'd be lining their pockets right now. I go into detail about how these work. I have a separate video that explains exactly how products like OLAPLEX work. So I'm not going to go into the details, but what you really want is to implement a bond builder, which is going to repair your hair from the inside out. Now, that's different to a protein treatment, like let's say apogee 2-step protein treatment, because what apogee 2-step protein treatment does is it coats the hair strand in protein and increases the hair's tensile strength. So what I find with a lot of people when they're trying to recover from heat damage is they start using all these products, all these protein treatments, and they get kind of like an initial bounce back, but they struggle to maintain the longevity of their hair's health. And let's say if they slip off of these protein treatments or they stop doing their hair a certain way, the damage almost comes back, but it's not like the damage has come back, it's that it never went, basically. And I feel like bond builders are such good technology and such good options to be able to repair your hair from the inside out and also permanently. That's what I found, that when I use the apogee 2-step protein treatment, yes, my hair is stronger, yes, my curls are bounced back a little bit, but the effects are quite temporary. And it even says it on the apogee bottle that the effects last only up to like 6 weeks. So if you want to maintain that heat damage recovery, you're gonna have to basically commit to doing apogee 2-step protein treatments every 6 weeks. If you've got really bad heat damage, by the way, this is if you've got extreme heat damage like I did. Whereas if you use OLAPLEX, bonds do gradually repair themselves from the inside out, and you can see that you can actually wean off of the OLAPLEX a lot more. So if I give you an example, when I first started my heat damage journey, OLAPLEX number 0 is like my holy grail. It's still like my holy grail. I still use it every wash day, but I was using about half a bottle of OLAPLEX number 0. That's 1, how much heat damage I had, and 2, how much my hair was just soaking up that OLAPLEX. So at first I was using half a bottle of OLAPLEX number 0. Now I'll have the video to my results for you from now. I have the video down below linked for my results using OLAPLEX number 0, because that's literally, if I only had to pick one product to help me recover from heat damage, it would be number 0. Now I can literally use that same bottle 5 or 6 times because I'm slowly weaning off the OLAPLEX. My hair doesn't need it anymore, if that makes sense. It started to recover, it started to build its bonds back up, it's now regained its strength, and it's now kind of got its form back. So you can wean off of those products and still be able to maintain the health of your hair, as opposed to if you were just going with your regular protein treatments where you'd have to kind of maintain that to retain the health. I want to put a disclaimer out there. Actually, I probably should have put the disclaimer out there first, with the disclaimer being whether or not your hair can recover from heat damage depends on the extent of your heat damage, okay? Not all heat damage can be repaired. If you are somebody who has had a toxic relationship with your hair straightener and it's been like you straighten your hair numerous times, multiple times, a lack of heat protectant spray, curling irons, the full whack, then yeah, you might need to consider going on a hair journey, trimming, cutting, growing as you cut. But for me, my personal experience is, as soon as I have one incident where my hair has not bounced back the way I want it to from a silk press, I stop. That's it. I don't silk press my hair again. I stop, I nurse my hair back to health, and then I go back to silk presses right back after. It's like a toxic relationship, right? So yeah, the extent of your heat damage definitely matters. I do think it's not possible to tell whether your hair is a write-off after one wash day. So some people will do reverting their hair back to curly, their hair won't revert, and then they immediately decide that it's heat damage, they need to cut it. Instead of giving their hair just a chance to get used to being curly again, I would say you would know whether or not your hair can be nursed back to health after like 4 or 5 wash days after the incident of heat damage. So you will know after like 4 or 5 wash days if there's still no life in your hair, there's still no curl, there's still no coil, there's no signs of the shrinkage coming back, then you kind of know that you might have to embark on a bit of a journey, even if it's slow but steady, okay? Sometimes different people's hair recovers at different rates. Now for me, I thought my hair was gonna take a good 6 to 8 months to recover, but somehow it's managed to happen in like 2 to 3 months, where my hair is kind of like recovered from its heat damage. I'm just glad that I did make the decision to try and nurse my hair back to health, and I didn't jump to straight scissors. Now guys, there's a few videos that I really think will help you out a bunch if you are trying to recover from heat damage. Now the first one is why your natural hair needs loads of protein. If you're somebody who's protein sensitive, you're gonna need to watch that video first, because it's gonna tell you how you can incorporate a lot of protein in your hair to recover from heat damage without causing protein overload, which a lot of naturalistas can be prone to. The second video that I think you guys should watch is, does OLAPLEX work for black people and is it safe to use? Now I love this video. Now this video explains the science behind products like OLAPLEX, i.e. bond builders. And then if I have to toss in the other videos, I would say just my overall tutorials, me using number 0, me using number 8, me using the apogee 2-step protein treatment, just so you can see how those products have interacted with my hair. Now I will say that there's also a specific order in which you need to use certain products when you are trying to overcome heat damage. I think I'm going to do a completely separate video on that, because like I said, the way these products works is completely different. But if you haven't watched those videos, you're not really going to understand, and I don't really feel like I need to go into the depth of the ways and the workings of the products, because I have a whole video on that. And I really think that those videos are going to give you so much insight into the actual ways and workings of what happens when heat damage occurs, and what these products are actually doing whilst interacting with your hair to be able to get your hair back to its health. So that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.